Have you ever wondered why some women, without a single word of pursuit, become an unforgettable presence in a man's mind? They don't chase, they don't plead, yet they linger, a haunting melody in the quiet moments of his life. This isn't about playing games. It's a profound psychological dance, an alchemy of the feminine spirit that weaves together ancient wisdom and the raw pulse of attraction. Let's delve into this mystery, exploring how a woman can command such a powerful, lasting influence, not by chasing him, but by mastering herself. This journey begins where psychology and spirituality meet. The great psychoanalyst Carl Jung spoke of archetypes, universal patterns that reside in our collective unconscious. For a man, one of the most powerful is the anima, the feminine image within his soul. When a man is intensely drawn to a woman, he's often not seeing her clearly. Instead, he's projecting his own anima onto her. He sees the nurturing mother he craved, the alluring muse he desires, or the wise companion he needs to feel whole. He's not falling in love with her, but with an idealized reflection of his own inner world. The woman who understands this doesn't get swept away by his initial, intense adoration. She recognizes it for what it is. A projection. She becomes a mirror, reflecting his hidden desires and unintegrated parts back at him. She embodies this archetypal grace, standing at the threshold of his consciousness, mysterious and alluring. Not because she's trying to be, but because she holds a space that invites him to look deeper within himself. She isn't a pursuer. She is a presence. This is the first secret. Her power lies not in action, but in being. But this dance of attraction is rarely simple. It's often tangled in what psychologists call attachment dynamics. If a man has unresolved childhood wounds or trauma, his projections can become a desperate clinging. His pursuit might stem from an anxious attachment style, a deep-seated fear of abandonment that drives him to possess, not connect. Or he might swing to the other extreme, an avoidance style, pulling away whenever true intimacy feels threatening. Either way, the woman can find her emotional self-worth, becoming the currency in a painful cycle she didn't sign up for. She becomes the solution to his inner turmoil, a role that is both flattering and incredibly draining. This is where the ancient wisdom of Stoicism offers a lifeline. Stoic philosophy teaches us to differentiate between what we can control and what we cannot. We cannot control another person's feelings, their projections, or their unresolved trauma. Trying to do so only leads to suffering. Instead, the Stoics urge us to focus on our own responses, our own inner state. For the woman in this dynamic, this means learning to detach from the outcome of his affection. It's a quiet resilience, a recognition that his emotional tides are his to navigate. Her peace of mind should not be dependent on his presence or his validation. The first turning point often arrives subtly. It's a shift in the energy between them. Perhaps during a quiet evening, his touch feels different. It's not a gesture of genuine connection, but one of need, of trying to fill an inner void. He reaches for her to soothe his own shadow, the parts of himself he can't face. Jung warned that if we don't integrate our shadow, it will control our relationships. She feels this pull, this demand to be something for him. It's like that gut-wrenching moment of waiting for a text, where your heart is a battlefield of hope and anxiety. You start to realize his silence isn't a rejection of you, but a reflection of his own inner chaos. The Stoic lesson here is profound. True power lies not in getting him to text back, but in finding peace, whether he does or not. You master your own response, letting his storm pass without shattering your calm. As she navigates this, a second turning point unfolds, pulling her deeper into the labyrinth of her own psyche. His ambiguity, that intoxicating mix of presence and absence, doesn't just trigger her desire. It awakens her own inner masculine, what Jung called the animus. Her animus challenges her to act, to solve the puzzle, to pursue. But the archetypal woman resists this urge. Her attraction behavior is a subtle art. It's a silent invitation, a graceful step back that creates space for him to move forward. This very act, however, can expose her own trauma patterns. Perhaps it echoes a childhood where love was conditional, where she had to perform or be good to earn affection. The game of emotional hide-and-seek feels painfully familiar. This is a call for her own shadow work. She must look into the darkness of her own past, embracing the vulnerabilities she once saw as weaknesses. Is she afraid of being alone? Does she equate her worth with being chosen? Stoicism provides the anchor in this storm. The philosophy reminds us that while pain is a part of life, suffering is a choice. Suffering comes from our attachment to specific outcomes, like he must choose me. By releasing this attachment, she can let go of the neediness that fuels the toxic cycle. Without losing the essence of her loving, open heart, she learns to desire without needing. The third turning point is often a confrontation. As his projections fail to soothe his inner turmoil, his ego may crack. He might start projecting blame onto her for the very unrest he feels inside. You're too distant, or you're too demanding. These accusations are often confessions of his own fears. Imagine her standing on a rain-swept street, a symbol of the emotional storm, as he hurls his frustrations. The old script would have her plead, argue, or chase after him. But the woman on the path to individuation, Jung's term for becoming a whole, integrated self, does something different. She stands still. She holds her ground, rooted in her self-worth, a beacon in the downpour. Here, the attachment dynamics fracture. His avoidant style clashes with her secure yearning. This clash is painful, but it's also illuminating. Trauma psychology shows us that these cycles repeat until one person is brave enough to break them. Stoic endurance is key. She learns to sit with the discomfort of the moment without reacting, transforming the pain of his rejection into the wisdom of self-possession. This is the moment she begins to reclaim her power, no longer serving as a vessel for his unhealed wounds. But the story doesn't end there. Often, there's a fourth turning point. The undertow of desire. After pulling away, he circles back, drawn by the mystery of the woman who didn't break. His unconscious is still hooked. It might be a fleeting touch in a crowded room, a late-night message, a look across a table that says everything and nothing. He's still projecting, idealizing her as the perfect feminine goddess, precisely because she seems unattainable. This masks his deep fear of real, messy, human intimacy. For her, this is a powerful provocation. The urge to lean in, to finally close the gap, is immense. Yet, guided by her inner wisdom, she holds back. She allows the silence to speak. Her integrated animus gives her strength and discernment, while Stoicism reminds her to choose virtue, her own integrity, and peace over the fleeting passion of a chaotic connection. She recognizes that this pool is a test, not of his love for her, but of her love for herself. She is healing her own trauma patterns by choosing a different response, detaching from the drama with deliberate grace. This leads to the final, liberating turning point. Awareness. Like the first light of dawn piercing the night, she sees the entire dynamic with crystal clarity. The archetypal woman steps fully into her individuation, integrating her shadow and her light. She is no longer ensnared. Like a river that has carved its path through stone, she flows beyond his grasp. Her feminine attraction is now a sovereign force, radiating from her core, not dependent on his gaze. She understands that her past pains, now confronted, are the very steps that led her to this resilience. She accepts what she cannot control him, and in doing so, she takes full command of her own destiny. This detachment isn't coldness. It's a profound act of self-love. Her emotional self-worth is now a fortress. The power you feel when you finally decide to organize your life on your own terms, to release what no longer serves you, that is the power she embodies. She has turned mystery into mastery. In this sacred space of self-possession, true connection finally becomes possible, but it is no longer needed for her to feel whole. The woman who walks away in silence isn't weak or defeated. She has simply traversed the depths of her own soul and his, and she sees the truth. She no longer chases echoes. She is the symphony. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive. If this resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe for more insights into the art of empowered living. Stay curious and stay true to your own incredible journey.